Welcome everybody to episode, I believe it is 22 now, correct?
Something like
22?
that.
We're going to say episode 22. The number will be right on the title.
Yeah.
I think.
We'll get
hopefully.
it. We'll get it in post.
Yeah. We're not going to do it live?
Nah.
We're not going to Bill O'Reilly this thing?
Nah, we're going to do this old school SmackDown style.
Okay. Not SD Live, but SD. We tape on a Tuesday, and we're on a Saturday this time. But anyway, we're getting away from ourselves. Welcome to Super Grapple Bros, the podcast about two brothers who are former WWE employees who happen to enjoy both the video games and the wrestling. So we combine the two by streaming on Twitch and putting audio forms out in various forms and also putting it on video form on YouTube. I am one of your hosts, Murpho, and I am joined by my brohan, DMurph. And we are in an interesting situation here on the podcast as we do not have a pay-per-view to predict or review.
For once.
It's one of those rare weeks. I think last week was again also one of those rare weeks.
Yeah.
Where there's nothing to review or preview. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna next weekend we will have our predictions for No Mercy. We will be instead this week doing a quick recap, touching on a few of the major stories or storylines that came through this week in WWE, and then going into the gaming news. There's a couple of interesting topics to discuss.
Yeah.
So, I will let you get into it because I really didn't have much of a chance to watch anything this week wrestling-wise. So you're going to drive the wrestling conversation. I'm just going to bounce and feed off of you. And then we also have some wrestling trivia that we're going to do, I believe. You're the one who's managing that as well. I'm kind of taking it easy a little bit this week.
There's a theme this week, and it's going to be interesting. I'm excited for it.
Okay.
But we'll start off with the thing that started off Raw this week because it was very good, and that was the opening match. Roman Reigns versus Jason Jordan, the rookie that John Cena fought last week. And Roman Reigns is like, oh, why did it take you 20 minutes? Guess what? Took Roman the same amount of time. And John Cena came out and pointed it out to him. Mm-hmm. But it was actually kind of funny because before he came out, I think it was Renee Young went up to him and was like, John, I just want to ask you what your thoughts are about this. And he goes, oh, I'm going to speak my mind, but I'm going to go out there and do it to his face.
Yeah.
And then walked out and did that. But it was a very interesting promo. The basic idea of it was John Cena going on about, like, you see, you didn't know what you were talking about. It took you just as long. You don't realize that this kid has got it. And Roman Reigns didn't say...
He does?
Yeah. Roman Reigns didn't say exactly the words, I was wrong. But he basically was like, yeah, he's good. He's better than I thought. But the entire thing was basically John Cena saying, like, this is why I don't respect you, because you don't give respect, blah, blah, blah. And Roman Reigns was like, John, I'm getting tired of this. You're a fake-ass bitch.
Is that verbatim what he said? Damn.
Yep. He's like, you prove it week after week. You keep coming out here and just running your mouth and not doing anything about it. And we all know the only reason that you're here is because you failed at going Hollywood. But don't worry, John, if you want, I know a guy.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
Oh, the worst, though, was the very end of the promo where John Cena just looked at Roman. He goes, listen, Roman, I'm just going to say it to you plain and clear in a way that even you can understand. At No Mercy, consider me a drug test. You ain't getting past this.
Oh, bang, 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 bang. Yeah. So many shots fired.
So it was kind of intense.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I just like to talk about like one thing. Like we know that this is like kind of like a fire rivalry that's going on right now. The promos are gold, and that it's going to be an entertaining match at No Mercy. But let's talk on the fact about how like. Yeah, he's struggling, but what a nice subtle way to kind of help keep pushing Jason Jordan.
Oh yeah,
these last 2 weeks.
That's one thing I wanted to point out.
Is two good quality matches because Jordan's best when he's in the ring, especially when he goes beast mode and like drops the straps, and you put him up against Roman Reigns and John Cena, and you have him lose, but you have him go the distance, and they argue, and then Roman and Cena are discussing like. How, he's not really a challenge. Oh, he really is. And they compliment it. That's like a good way to like subtly give him a push.
Yeah.
I like it.
Exactly, and this is a perfect example of something that I feel like WWE could do more often, of having someone go out. And yeah, they're losing matches all the time, but so long as they're putting on a good, strong showing, it doesn't hurt the individual. A lot of times nowadays...
Well, a good, strong showing also depends on the caliber of the opponent that they're facing.
True. But, I mean, you could have two people who aren't that high up on the card, and if they have a nice, good, long match, it'll still look good and build up their character. Not like what they do with, like, Kurt Hawkins and stuff. I like Kurt Hawkins. He's not that great. But, I mean, it's also a matter of, you see him come out, he has maybe a 5-minute match and loses every single week. And that doesn't help his, character out that much.
No.
But doing stuff like this, Jason Jordan doesn't have to get on the mic. He has a good, decent, long match against top-quality guys. Yeah, he's losing the matches, but he's putting on a good fight and showing that he can hold his own. And that's all you really need to do.
Yeah. Like I said, Jason Jordan seems like he's at his best when he's angry.
Oh, yeah.
Either when he's in between the ropes or when, like, he's given a reason to be angry. He can really sell just being furious and angry and going rage beast mode and just destroying people.
Oh, yeah. He's got his father's intensity.
Yes, and I guess you could say he's got the intelligence, maybe the integrity.
He's got the ring intelligence, at least. He had a good match with Roman. He did another one of those
Jason Jordan has got everything when it comes to in between the ropes. Like, he is an amazing athlete, amazing worker, and he seems like a great guy. It's just he needs to work on his mic skills. That's why he works so well in American Alpha, is because Chad Gable covered that up, because Gable had the charisma and has the wrestling ability.
Yeah, he has both.
But Gable's thing is he doesn't have the size and he doesn't have the intensity.
Yeah.
Like, Jordan has the size and the intensity, so he made up for that lack from Gable. But they both had the ring ability, so Jordan had the size and intensity to make up for where Gable lacked there. Gable had the charisma and the skills on the mic to make up for what Jordan's lacking there. But hopefully, Jason Jordan will keep progressing and end up getting better there as well. But in the meantime, like you said, this is a good way to keep him going forward without putting him in the spot where he's weakest. They're putting him where he's strongest so he can work on his weaknesses backstage.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big Stupid, who came in today and asking how our week was. Our week was good. It is the weekend. We are relaxing. And hope your week was good as well.
Yeah, it's a good week for wrestling.
Yeah. So what else was a big story from Raw in addition to the Cena and Reigns rivalry?
Well, to keep Cena in the mix somewhat, we're going to shift over to Braun Strowman. Because first, Braun Strowman came out and confronted Brock Lesnar after Paul Heyman cut one hell of a promo about it, where he ended it basically being like, how do they do it in the UFC? They look at you and they go, fighter, are you ready? Fighter, are you ready? So Braun Strowman, I know you're here. I know you want some of Brock Lesnar. Brock, fighter, are you ready? And then he pointed at the rent and went, fighter, are you ready? Braun Strowman, if you want Brock Lesnar, come on out. And Braun Strowman came out. And they fought.
Paul Heyman always with those amazing promos.
Yeah, he's amazing with it. But Braun Strowman came out. They fought a little bit. And then Brock Lesnar gave Braun Strowman a German suplex. And Braun no-sold it. And just stood up. And Brock looked like he just took a big old dookie in his pants. And then Braun chokeslammed him. And then gave him a running power slam. And then held up the title with his foot on Brock Lesnar, just holding it that way.
Yes, feed the Brock.
Yeah.
Or not feed the Brock, feed the Braun.
Yeah.
Give Braun more. Braun's not finished with him yet.
Yeah, and now the one thing that upset me about it is it allowed them to coin the term that Braun Strowman monster handles people. Instead of manhandle, he monster handles people.
Would it be beast handle, though?
That's if Brock was doing it. With Braun, because he's the monster among men, he monster handles people.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, the whole Braun thing is really cool. Just really nothing to complain about here. Again,
he's doing great.
It's Braun versus Brock, two badass guys who can just toss people around, destroy people, have that intensity, have that charisma, have that size, have the wrestling ability, have the complete package, just going at each other.
Yeah,
and that's what makes wrestling great. That's like that. I feel like John Cena versus Roman Reigns. I don't care what people say about Roman Reigns. This is my opinion. I feel like the Cena Reigns rivalry and the Strowman Brock rivalry are like epitomes of like what wrestling can be at its best.
It was really good, and to go along with it, Braun Strowman had a match with John Cena, and I loved every second of that match because a lot of the match was John Cena doing things and just looking at him like, okay, that didn't work. What am I gonna do this time?
Crap.
Yeah.
What's plan F?
Basically. And Cena's plan F was, I know, I'll make him disqualify himself. And that didn't work at first, because Braun Strowman hit him in the face with the steps, and the ref was like, nah, that's cool, boy. You can just keep going.
nah, you good.
Yeah.
Everybody gets one. I'm like Spider-Man today.
Yeah. Nah, it's cool. And then he did it a second time. He's like, all right, that one was I can't let that one pass.
That's a little too far.
Yeah.
Like, really, man, I gave you a chance.
Yeah.
Really? I thought we were cool.
So that was good, and I enjoyed a good match out of both of them, and the only thing that they had Roman Reigns say after that match was Braun Strowman just showed John Cena no mercy. And at no mercy...
they said the name of the pay-per-view at the show.
And then he went, and at no mercy, I'm going to do the same thing. That's all he had to say about it. But whatever. I'm excited for that match. Looks like it's going to be good. Both of those matches, actually. Mm-hmm. But another thing that happened was the big announcement on Miz TV.
Yes, there was a big announcement on Miz TV.
Which is that Miz is going to be a daddy. Yeah, Miz and Maurice are pregnant. And, there was congratulations by everyone in the arena. And, the Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas were like, oh my God, congratulations. And then as Miz went to make his speech about becoming a father, Enzo Amore interrupted, who is supposed to be the special guest of Miz TV, and man, was it good.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
Well, you got Enzo and Miz on the mic going up against each other, so...
Miz did not hold back.
He never does. He rarely, if ever, does. And that's what makes him so good.
He went up to Enzo, and he's like, what is the matter with you? It's things like this, which are why nobody likes you. No one in the locker room likes you. That's why they shipped you over to 205 Live, because no one here likes you. And guess what? You're not making any friends over there. Trust me. I know. I was in the same position. But I at least have done something with myself. What have you do? You just cheat in matches, and you don't really get anything. You just make more and more people hate you. And Enzo was like, you want to talk the truth? All right. And went on his own thing about how the Miz is terrible and all that. And then that they started having a match, and there were pauses in the match where they were on the mic talking trash to each other. And the best was the very end, because Miz went to hit Enzo with something, and Enzo rolled out of the way, and he just grabbed the mic. And, when Miz had the mic before, he was making fun of all of Enzo's catchphrases, and Enzo just looked at Miz and just went, Miz, you're asking the question, how you doing? But the real question you should be asking is that baby, when it's born, is, who's your daddy? And everyone in the crowd just was like, oh, and Miz was pissed. And not only was Miz pissed, but the Miztourage was pissed, and they beat the living crap out of Enzo. Curtis Axel threw him into a barricade, and then Bo Dallas ran and gave him a hip attack in the barricade, and was just like, I legitimately thought Enzo was knocked out.
Are they, I understand the Enzo thing, but, I guess with the brutal assault, they're trying to not turn Miz heel, because it's announcing that you're going to be parents is, almost a guaranteed face turn.
Yeah.
So, I guess with him trying to be as vicious on the mic as he was with Enzo, and then having the Miztourage just obliterate Zoe is just them trying to be like, no, they're still dicks. Yeah. They're still heels.
Yeah, he kept...
He's going to be a daddy, yay, but they're still jerks.
Yeah. It was also funny because he was pointing out how he's the reason that his meal ticket never got a championship and how he'll never be a champion, blah, blah, blah. And he just tried saying to the Miz, well, Miz, you're a paper champion. And I kind of wanted to be like, I'm pretty sure he's got the second most Intercontinental title reigns.
Yeah, not really.
And I hate to say it, but he did beat John Cena for the WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania one time, which is kind of like the highest thing you could do in the company.
Yeah.
But
by the way, Bowling Dude, thank you so much for the host. I don't know why the notifications aren't showing up. It showed up on the on the actual like Twitch alerts label, but it's not showing up on the screen, which is weird because it was working Thursday.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the whole thing with Miz. You know what would be hilarious? I mean, I might sound like a jerk saying this, but like if they wanted to LOL wrestling this, what if they had what if the kid was born, and then Miz is out there on Miz TV, maybe with the Miz Taraj,
and it just says, "How you doing?"
Celebrating with the birth of the kid, and all of a sudden you hear Miz's music hit, and out walks who? Damien Sandow.
Oh my god.
And Damien Sandow comes back. And he's like, I'm the papa.
That would be me throwing my money at the screen, just going, take it.
A good way to get Damien Sandow back in the company and give him a hot, fresh angle and, LOL wrestling. It's not like they haven't done ridiculous things with kids before.
True.
Snitsky.
Mark Henry. Young with Mark Henry. I mean, the whole thing with Eugene.
Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, God.
Hornswoggle.
Oh, God. Hornswoggle. Yep.
So, if they wanted to go LOL wrestling there, I think that would be a cool idea.
Yeah.
But, that aside, congrats to Miz and Maurice.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing that I say right away is congrats to them. Miz, you're a good worker. Doing great as the Intercontinental Champ, really bringing up that championship. Good for you. Congratulations. But moving on a little bit. The tag team championship scene was just kind of weird and interesting, but they got the main event this week. You okay? You okay there?
I'm good. I just figured I'd hold that face. I got fixated by it in the camera, and I figured I'd see how long I could hold it before you just started poking me.
Interesting.
What were you saying? Main event, SmackDown?
Yeah. Originally, there was supposed to be a match of Cesaro and Sheamus versus Gallows and Anderson with Rollins and Ambrose on the microphone, but then when Sheamus and Miz went to do their intro, they got into a skerfuffle with Rollins and Ambrose, and then Gallows and Anderson got involved. So
wait, this on SmackDown?
No, this is on Raw.
Oh, you were talking about the Raw main event. I thought we were talking about I thought we had transitioned over to SmackDown.
No,
My bad.
No. And they were saying they wanted to fight all of them, and Angle told them that he can't have his tag champions go and do a handicap match like that. So, because they were in California in Anaheim, Ambrose made the joke of, I don't care, we'll go get Batman and Mickey Mouse from Disneyland and we'll have them as tag partners, blah, blah, blah.
But Batman,
I know.
Batman's at Universal.
I know.
That's over by Hollywood.
I know.
That's like 45 minutes to an hour on a good day away.
Yep. But, then they ended up finding tag partners in the Hardy Boys. So the main event was the Hardy Boys and Ambrose and Rollins versus Gallows, Anderson, Cesaro, and Sheamus. And the match basically ended with Cesaro and Sheamus walking away and letting Ambrose get hit, Anderson get hit with the spinning knee thing that Rollins does into the dirty deeds from Ambrose and getting pinned for the win.
Nice.
But one of the main reasons I want to point that out is because of something else that Matt Hardy pointed out this week. What? About Destiny 2 that made me so happy.
What about it?
Apparently, there's one point in the game where I guess the new AI that you get is named Failsafe.
Yes.
And
oh god, the moments with Failsafe are hilarious.
Yeah, there was one point where they were talking about trying to find a home or something like that, about the farm or whatever. And Failsafe just says to the Guardian, well, that's lucky for you, because at least you don't live in a dilapidated boat. And and Matt Hardy just went, Skarsgård's legacy lives on.
And Bowling Dude's right. Batman is actually Six Flags, it's not Universal.
That's true. But yeah, I thought that was pretty good. That Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat from the Broken Hardys, made it into Destiny 2, apparently.
Oh, God.
But
So that was Raw, right?
Yep, that was Raw. As far as SmackDown goes, there's really only one thing that I learned about. Actually, there were some some title matches.
And one title changed hands again.
And that is New Day is now your tag champs again.
Which, like, I really love this rivalry, but, like, the amount of times they're facing each other, like, at this point now, and the amount of, and, like, how frequently I feel the titles are swapping now, because it's, like, 3 times in, like, 2 months or a month and a half. Like, I feel like...
Longer than a month and a half, like 2 or 3 months.
No, because they won in July, at the July pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Then, in August, it got changed, and now it's the middle of September. So, say the first title change took place in mid to late July. It's now mid-September, so
about
it's like 2 months.
Yeah.
Three title changes in 2 months' time. It's almost a little too much, if you ask me.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the only thing, like, good for the New Day. There's only one reason I can think of why they're doing that, and that is New Day and Usos are more or less the top teams on SmackDown. Wouldn't you say? That's how it's supposed to be represented. And before this, neither one of them have had that high of a title reign number. Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling that they're just tossing the titles back and forth to add to the prestige of them. Because now New Day are kind of 4-time tag team champions.
Mm-hmm. The Usos are what, 4 or 5 times as well now?
I think more than that, because Usos were, I think, 2-time champs before they initially won the titles on SmackDown, and then they lost them to American Alpha and then won them back. And then they started doing this.
So they're like 6 or 7 times now.
Something like that, yeah.
Dang.
So I feel like they did that on purpose just to like boost that up. But so
I mean, like, it's not like me being like, I feel like
I like both teams.
I like both teams, and it's not gonna hurt my feelings on the rivalry how both teams are performing. And like, if it was by itself, it would be just a minor gripe. It's just like, it seems like over the last year there's been like a trend.
Yeah,
with championships just having these spurts or these periods where they'll change hands really quickly, like a few times over. So it's just like another piece of evidence that that this trend exists, and like. Yep. But still, that's not to knock on the New Day or the Usos. They both deserve the spot they've got right now, and they both deserve to hold the championships.
Yeah, exactly. They're both worthy of it, but it's just not a great way to be going about it.
I guess so, yeah.
Because I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I feel like the better champion is the person who holds the title the longest. Not necessarily who holds it more. That's not always the case, but in cases like this, it's
you got it longer and you've got a fair amount of defenses. That means nobody was able to beat you for a while. It's proving that
you were championship material, as opposed to this, where it's I was champion. Yeah, but then you lost it. Then I won it. Yeah, but then you lost it.
I don't know where the saying comes from, but there is a saying where it's basically like, why would you want to be a 5-time champion? Because then that means you lost the championship 5 times as well.
Which is one of the arguments I always give about John Cena. But anyway, so New Day won. Natalya retained the women's title against, I believe it was Naomi. And AJ Styles defended the United States Championship against Ty Dillinger.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Was that match 10?
I bet it was. But yeah, the highlight though was Vince McMahon and Kevin Owens, which you just watched.
Right we just watched. It's the only part of wrestling that I have seen, and Vinnie Mac still does what he can to entertain.
Yeah, and on top of that, I have to point out he must really like Kevin Owens to let him do that to him.
Yeah, to be fair, like, not that like I'm saying that like Vince McMahon is frail, because no, Vince still at his age will go and blare AC/DC and hit the gym like nobody's business at WWE headquarters.
Yep.
But like, he isn't a spry chicken anymore. Like,
he's in his 70s.
Despite what he looks like, he does look like he's in his 50s, but he's in his 70s. So it's like, he's got to be real careful with anything physical he does, especially blows to the head at his age.
Yeah.
So like, props to him, but like, it makes me worry a little bit when he does stuff like that at this day and age. So I'm just concerned that he might get hurt. And I'm sure Vince McMahon is the kind of person where he doesn't give two shits that like to random people who used to work for his company care about whether they think he's like fit to tussle and do shit with the guys in the ring. But like, I'm just saying, like, for me personally, knowing that this has no impact on anything whatsoever, that like it concerns me a little bit. But like, still, props and mad respect to Vince for showing up on SmackDown for the first time in a long time, and then getting physical with Kevin Owens and letting Kevin Owens, a man like half his age, if not a third his age, well, not a third his age.
Yeah.
Because that'd be a little too much. About half his age, like, headbutt him right square in the middle of the head. And I'm sure Kevin Owens knows what he's doing and made it safe, but still, like, a 72-year-old man taking a headbutt from a wrestler in his prime is...
To get busted open the hard way, too.
Yeah, well, we don't know if he was busted open the hard way because, like, I did read up that there might be a chance, and this is something that people do in a while, where, like, they can cut themselves and then, like, use makeup to cover it up. So that way, once an impact is dealt to them, it opens right back up.
True.
So he could have done that. In which case, Owens probably did a safe headbutt that only just hit him, and it was just enough to reopen the wound.
True. But still, the fact that he let him do that is crazy, which means that Vince is a big fan of him.
It also shows that if Vince did it the other way, that technically Vince doesn't care about his own rules because he tells people don't bleed and don't bleed, but then he does it. But I mean, he's Vince McMahon; he can do whatever the hell he wants. It's his company.
But Bowling Dude actually brought up something that I forgot to mention because I didn't really hear too much about it. But apparently, Dolph Ziggler's got a new gimmick, which the only thing I really heard is apparently this week Naomi's music came on and it looked like Naomi coming out, doing her intro very poorly, and it turned out to be Dolph Ziggler.
What the hell?
And apparently he was doing that as a way to try and get some kind of attention or something, because no one's paying attention to him or whatever. I don't know, but, I mean, if it's getting Ziggler on TV, then I'm happy with it, because I like Ziggler, and I like seeing him work.
I guess, yeah. Dolph...
it's better than, hi, I'm Dolph Ziggler.
I mean, he's been like, he hasn't had the best year. He had the talent of 2017 and 2018 haven't really, or the talent of 2016 and 2017 haven't been that great to him.
With the exception of the stuff he did with The Miz.
Yeah, for like a month.
It went on for several months. And they had a bunch of amazing matches.
The matches were good, but I don't know if his like personality and character and gimmick came through really that well. I felt like that was more The Miz. But like, I'm just saying, like his star has been waning the last year.
Yeah,
so like,
unfortunately,
it's good to see him on there. It's good to see that they're trying something. Hopefully, they'll find something that'll make him stick. Because like I feel like he needs to get something going to be back to where he was. Because it's not that he's a bad wrestler. He's a really good wrestler.
Yeah,
I think
really
it's
good.
just like they finally decided to push him after like the moment had passed.
Yeah,
like. That push they gave him last year at SummerSlam should have come like a year and a half to 2 years sooner.
exactly.
So hopefully they can end up they can find something that makes him stick, and maybe this will be it. Maybe it won't. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah.
The only other thing really to talk about wrestling wise that I really cared about that much was the finals of the Mae Young Classic. Man, was that good.
Yeah?
It was real good. And you had Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, and Asuka all sitting together watching it. You had Ronda Rousey and...
the other four horsewomen?
Well, one of the other ones. I can't remember her name.
Was it Gargano's... Or not Gargano...
it wasn't Strong's wife.
It wasn't Roddy Strong's wife.
One. I can't remember her name, and I feel really bad for it.
Ronda Rousey, the chick in the Mae Young Classic, Roddy Strong's wife, and
hey.
the other.
Hey. Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, I know. I don't know her name because I haven't watched the Classic.
Which, one thing I will point out, because I don't know if you know this, and I realized that after talking about it last week, is she has done a good amount of pro wrestling, like on the indies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the semifinals, she faced off against Mercedes Mendez, one of the second most experienced person in the entire tournament, who's been wrestling for like at least 15 years, was champion in Shimmer and all that. She actually worked a lot with Mercedes and like learned from her, like trained with her and everything, and they talk about it when they have their match. and she was the only person in the tournament that Shayna legitimately shook hands with before the match. Like, before the finals, she did, like, Kyrie went to do the handshake, and she did, like, the usual thing you'll see in UFC where they'll, like, touch the hands, not actually shake, but touch it. She did that, but the only person she actually shook the hands of was Mercedes Mendez, who she's actually had experience with in the ring. But the finals were good. It was a matter of Shayna targeting the elbow of Kyrie to try and take away her elbow, and Kyrie targeting the ribs of Shayna. And it worked out because when Shayna eventually got her in that rear naked choke when she was about out, just started elbowing her in the ribs and got her off of her. And it was just a really good match. It seemed to be very emotional for a lot of people. They actually hugged after the match, which was kind of surprising and awesome. It was really good. And Triple H and Stephanie came out to give Kyrie a huge bouquet of roses. She stood by the trophy and everything, and it was really good and really nice.
So let me ask you, with the Mae Young Classic now over, what is your take and your thoughts on the tournament as a whole? Did you feel like it, because I still have to watch it, do you feel like it matched up to the Cruiserweight Classic? Do you think that some of these women maybe have a future? Do you think this means there might be like a female brand that would come to WWE? Do you think it would have as much of a chance as maybe the Cruiserweights did? Do you think it would turn into 205 Live? Just throwing all these questions at you. Let me get your thoughts.
I don't know if they'll get their own show necessarily. I mean, that's also because of the fact that I don't know if WWE will add yet another show to their lineup. Especially since it'd be another gimmick show, unless they did something like got rid of Main Event, because I don't even know anyone who watches it, but they still apparently do it. Like if they did that, then maybe I could see them doing it. As far as comparing it to things like the Cruiserweight Classic, 100%. Like similar to the Cruiserweight Classic, I felt the first round was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was pretty good. But that's because you also had people. They even stated that one of the people, I think it was Shayna Baszler, faced in the first round. It was her first actual match. She was one of the people that WWE recruited from China. She hadn't had any, she'd been training in wrestling, but she hadn't had any wrestling match yet. First female superstar from China to be signed.
Ho Ho Loon.
Well, Ho Ho Loon started everything over in Hong Kong. But, this was her legit first match, and it showed. But, I mean, the only real bad part, in my opinion, of the Mae Young Classic was there was a match in the first round between Lacey Evans and another woman whose name I can't remember. She was mostly a jiu-jitsu expert out of Brazil. I actually fell asleep during that match, but that's also because I don't think Lacey Evans, she's athletic, she's got a good background, she's a Marine, she's a mother, all that. Good for her. She's not as good in the ring. Her work is a little sloppy. She doesn't have, the kind of charisma you normally have in wrestling. It's just, she just reminded me of one of the showgirls from, Captain America that was on the USO show with him. Similar attire. Wasn't that great. She did a decent job in the ring, but it was a poor match overall. But the last match of the first round, Tessa Blanchard versus Kairi Sane, was amazing. Kind of like how at the end of the first round of the Cruiserweight Classic, you had Ciampa versus Gargano, which was amazing. And then from there, it went on, and it was great. You had amazing matches between people like Shayna Baszler versus Mercedes Mendez, which I had mentioned before. Mercedes Mendez versus Abby Layth. Piper Niven versus Toni Storm. Dakota Kai versus Kairi Sane. You also had a very good match with Kairi Sane and Bianca Belair, who had only shown up in NXT once. And I don't know if you remember her, but she's got the really long ponytail that goes all the way down to her knee. And she was whipping her with it. But overall, it was a very good, very, very good tournament. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I see a lot of them with a very bright future, especially people like Toni Storm, 21-year-old out of Australia. Arguably the best person in the entire tournament. She wrestled in 13 countries before she was 20.
Sounds like Paige. So don't keep her near the women's title.
Yeah. No, but all of them are very good. I was very impressed. Like I said, Kairi Sane, Shayna Baszler, Piper Niven, Toni Storm, Dakota Kai. I feel really bad that I'm not remembering more. Mercedes Mendez, Abby Layth. there's a lot of people that were in that tournament that were so very good and put on a very good show. And I think it was on the same level as the Cruiserweight Classic. The only thing that I'd say is different is the winner of the Mae Young Classic did not have a gigantic bruise on their chest like TJP did when he won the Cruiserweight Classic from Grand Malik chopping him like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, very, very good, very solid performances, and I hope to see a lot of them in
Who do you think is going to stick around after this?
I don't know necessarily who will. I know Kairi Sane will.
Obviously.
I think Shayna Baszler will.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe Mercedes Martinez. I'm not entirely sure because she is a 15-year veteran and she does know Sarah Del Rey, one of the trainers.
Sarah Amato.
Yeah, Sarah Amato. She is good friends with her, and they showed it. Like, they hugged after she was eliminated from the tournament and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good chance a lot of them. Like, I hope Toni Storm stays. I hope Piper Niven stays. I hope Dakota Kai stays. All of them I had heard were, except for some of them went up to Las Vegas, but a lot of them stayed in Florida.
What about Tessa Blanchard and who was it?
Rachel Evers.
What was the name of Paul Ellering's daughter?
Rachel Evers.
Yeah, what about them?
I'm hoping they will. They're really good. I'm Tessa Blanchard. I could definitely see because, in case you don't know, she's dating Cassius Ohno.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, she's in a relationship with him. I don't know if Candice LeRae, another person I loved in the Cruiserweight Classic, I don't know if
Joey
she'll
Ryan's lady
in the Johnny. Well, she's married to Johnny Gargano. She's in the world's cutest tag team with Joey Ryan, but she's married to Johnny Gargano. I actually saw on Twitter today about how she has yet to go on the Frozen ride in Epcot because she had a chance to go with Joey Ryan because his friend who works there got them fast passes. And she said, no, I will not go on that ride until I can go with Johnny. And so neither of them have been on it yet.
That's adorable.
And then she pointed out, like, I think that's what true love is. Waiting to go on a ride until you're with that person.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, they all did really good. And I'm hoping a bunch of them. Rachel Evers and Tessa Blanchard, I could definitely see doing it. I really hope so. They were both really good. I don't know if they necessarily will, though.
Yeah.
Once again, I really hope so. We're not entirely
Here's
sure.
hoping that this helps out women's wrestling.
I mean, Kairi Sane, it was announced, is going to be wrestling for the NXT Women's Championship at the next takeover.
Well, let's hope that this helps some of these ladies go into NXT. It infuses the NXT Women's Division. I mean, the NXT Women's Division is doing pretty well for itself right now.
Yeah.
Despite Asuka leaving and kind of decimating everybody, you've still got Nikki Cross. You've got Ruby Riott. You've got Ember Moon. So there's those three right there. Liv Morgan's kind of all right. You've got Billie Kay and Peyton Royce who are good together, and then hopefully with the influx of some of these ladies, it'll be just straight fire.
Can I tell you something? Something that seems to be developing with Liv Morgan.
What?
I'm not 100%, but it looks like if they're not, that they might end up being in a relationship. Her and now former UK champion Tyler Bate.
Ah.
They have been going back and forth on things with Twitter, and there's been pictures of them hanging out and stuff.
Good for Tyler Bate.
Yeah, good for both of them. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are like, please, you guys are both so good, just please make it work. But yeah, it looks really good, and hopefully it works out for them.
Yeah. And hopefully the Mae Young Classic works out as a good way to inject some new blood into the women's division and help further the women's evolution.
Yes. I'm sure it'll do the job, but let's... I
believe that's going to do it for the wrestling.
Except it's time for wrestling trivia.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have some wrestling trivia that you were going to ask me, right?
And there's a theme this week. A lot of them will be pretty easy.
All right, so those of you who are listening and or watching, go ahead and play along.
Yeah, if you want to play along, you can. If you want, you could... Yes, Bowling Dude, we have seen that. We'll be talking about that when we get to our video game section.
The 2K
The
stuff.
2K Dev Spotlight. But if you guys, I'll just point this out, you have any ideas for themes or anything like that you want to do with trivia, go ahead, email it to us at supergrapplebros@gmail.com or hit me up on Twitter or whatever. But this week's theme is champions.
Champions, okay.
So we'll start off with some relatively easy ones. For example, we'll start off with the WWE Championship.
Yes.
First question, who was the first ever WWE champion?
WWE like with the E, or like are we talking about WWWWF
That
like way back?
The original, back in, I think it was the 1960s.
In the 60s?
I
So like
think.
before or during Bruno's time?
A little before Bruno.
A little bit.
Obviously champion before Bruno. Spoilers, it's not Bruno.
Yeah, I was gonna get. You said this was the easy one.
You don't know who it is?
I didn't. I don't remember who the first champion ever was. It was before Bruno.
Do you want me to just tell you and we can move on?
No, I'm trying to think. Would it be Gorgeous George?
Nope. There's one wrong.
Killer Kowalski?
Nope, that's two wrong.
Luthez?
That's strike three.
Jesus.
No, it was not Bockwinkel. Buddy Rogers.
Oh, Buddy Rogers.
Yeah, Buddy Rogers.
Right.
But who is the longest reigning WWE champion?
Oh, that one's easy. That one's Bruno.
Yep, there you go. Bruno Sammartino. With 1.8 thousand day reign, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because back in those days, like there were like you didn't really defend your championship that much because shows were so spread out and you would go all over the place.
Yep. And who, well, I guess are the most what's the term? I had it in my head, but I'm blanking on it now. Wow, this is really gonna bother me. Decorated. Who are the most decorated WWE champions? Who have held it the most? The WWE Championship the most?
Like, are we talking the WWE Championship?
Who
itself?
are the? You know the answer to this of who the two people are.
Okay, well you gotta say world champions because in regards to those two, they haven't held. It wasn't just the WWE.
True. I'm talking about the state
Cena.
of the WWE title
Ric
now.
Flair and John Cena.
Yes, Ric Flair and John Cena. Okay, now.
So technically, I think there are some titles that WWE doesn't recognize that Flair has. So technically, Flair is the most, but
world title wise, 16. But that's more what we'll be getting into. Here's some other easy ones. Let's see. It was who is the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history?
I don't know, but I think
You
they rock.
Okay.
I think they rock.
Yes.
New Day.
The New Day is the longest reigning.
Kofi, Austin, and E.
Now, which tag team, not individual, what tag team holds the most tag team championships in WWE?
So I gotta kind of zoned out in the middle of that question. I don't know why.
What tag team?
Tag team, okay.
Has held the most tag team titles in WWE history?
The most?
Yes. The most decorated tag team champions in
I
WWE
know the
history.
person who's held the most tag team championships, but the
you can answer that because that's going to be my next question.
Is the first one the Dudleys?
Yep.
Yeah, the Dudleys was the first.
Dudleys
I was close between. I was
10-time title reigns.
And then the person who's been a tag team champion the most is Edge, I believe.
Yep, it is Edge, 11-time champion.
Adam Cole.
Yep. And now here's another little fun one. Who are the three teams that have held the WWE, I believe NWA, and IPGW Tag Team Championships? It's only three teams that have held all those titles.
Oh, three teams?
Yes.
IWGP, WWE, and NWA?
I think NWA. I know at least WWE and IWPG.
IWGP.
Yes.
PG.
Yeah, whatever.
The New Japan titles. Just say the New Japan ones.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Road Warriors are one.
No. They actually were. The reason you're probably thinking that is because they were the longest reigning champs until New Day beat them.
Oh, no, not Legion of Doom. That's what I meant. Not the Legion.
Same people.
Legion of Doom or the
Same
Road Warriors.
people,
Yeah,
but still no.
wasn't Demolition. The Steiner Brothers?
Steiner Brothers are one.
Steiner Brothers are one. I'm trying to think. Couldn't have been the Hearts. Couldn't have been the Rockers. Rock and Roll Express.
Nope.
No.
I'll give you a hint. Both of these teams have recent. One of them is current superstars in WWE. The others recently left WWE.
Current WWE. So were the Dudleys one then?
Dudleys were one.
Dudleys were one. And then
these ones are still current WWE superstars.
Gallows and Anderson haven't had the tag titles in WWE though
Yes,
yet.
they have.
They did win. When did they win the tag titles again?
About a year ago, before WrestleMania.
Oh, I did not remember that.
Yep.
I was gonna say Gallows and Anderson right off the bat, but I was like, I don't remember them holding the IWGP
I
tag
believe
titles.
they were technically champions going into WrestleMania when the Hardys came in.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that was Sheamus and Cesaro who had the titles. When they came in.
That's right. They had beaten Gallows and Anderson for the titles.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
So those are those three teams. All right. Now, who is the first ever United States champion?
First ever U.S. champion?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I blanking on this? I feel like I should know this. Crap. Why am I blanking on this? It wasn't Ricky Steamboat, was it?
Nope, it was not Ricky Steamboat.
First ever United States champion. So one of the Four Horsemen?
No, it was not one of the Four Horsemen.
Because I was going to guess Tully Blanchard. Was it Sting?
It was not Sting.
Who is it?
Harley Race.
Harley Race. Oh, I'm stupid. Harley Race.
Yep.
Yes, of course.
Harley Race is the first champion. Now, who has the most U.S. title reigns?
Who has the most title reigns?
Yes,
as
who is the
champion?
most decorated United States champion in WWE history? Well, history of the title.
That's a good question.
I'll give you a hint.
Was
He
it
is one
Sting?
of the most decorated champions, and his name has already been mentioned as an answer in one of these questions.
Hardy, he's already been answered. Well, it wasn't Cena.
Nope.
Couldn't have been Flair. Or could it have been Flair?
It was, in fact, Ric Flair.
It was Flair.
Ric Flair
really?
has
Ric
the
Flair's
most
had the most U.S.
Yep,
titles?
with 6 championships.
Wow.
And who is the longest reigning U.S. champion?
Oh, it's somebody recently.
Yeah, actually, I'll say this: who is the longest reigning in WWE and the longest reigning of all time? Because technically, the longest reign was back in WCW.
I know Dean Ambrose had it for a while. Is it still Dean Ambrose?
He is the longest in WWE history.
Okay.
But the reign in WCW is the longest of all time.
Was that... It's got to be either Sting or Tully Blanchard.
Nope.
Sting?
Nope, neither of them. He's a very American person.
Lex Luger.
Yep, Lex Luger, longest reigning champion. And now we will get to Intercontinental Championship. Who was the first Intercontinental Champion?
Why you gotta do that? You mess with the audio by dropping that.
It's fine.
The answer's Pat Patterson.
That is correct. Who has held the title the most?
Chris Jericho, baby.
And how many times did he break his own record?
Oh... I think wasn't the record 7 before he broke it, or was it 6?
It was 6.
It was 6, so he's broken it 1, 2, 3 times.
Well, yeah, and he broke it himself twice.
Yeah.
What was the other one I was going to ask? So I did first. Okay, who is the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in WWE history?
Longest reigning. Oh, Honky Tonk Man.
Yep, correct.
I think about why did I think about that for a while?
Yeah, I know.
You gave us the Robo voice when you dropped the water bottle.
All right.
For this kick back in. Let's just make sure the Robo voice is gone, and then we'll go back over the last 2 questions.
Okay.
For trying to see. Let us know, guys, if everything is back and good, so we can continue. I know there's a delay, so I'm just going to be doing this with my hands while you wait. Jazz hands, jazz hands. It's good now. Okay. All right, so let's go over the last 2 questions.
So the last 2 questions were, who has held the title the most?
So the title most, that was Chris Jericho.
And who is the longest reigning?
Who was the longest reigning? That was Honky Tonk Man.
Yes. All right. Now for what I believe are the most difficult questions. Well, one of them's not that difficult. And I'm going to phrase it this way specifically. I'm going to ask you who are the top 2 most decorated champions in WWE history. And the reason I'm saying that is because, 1, the number 2 second most decorated champion in WWE history, I feel is the most legitimate person. The number one is more of a technicality kind of thing.
So this is like overall championships?
Yes.
Like
which WWE superstars have held the most titles in WWE history?
Kurt Angle's got to be one.
Nope.
No.
This is top two. Remember, top two.
John Cena never won the Intercontinental Championship, right?
I'm not talking about Intercontinental Championship. I'm talking about all-time, all championships, most decorated champions in all of WWE.
Cena's got to be one.
He's
right?
not number one or two. He's up there, but he's not one or two.
Like, this is the most, too, not like reigns and everything?
Most title reigns of all titles in WWE history.
Triple H?
Not Triple H.
Oh, wow. Rolling Dude got it right as I was going to guess it. Can't be... I don't think Austin and Rock won enough, like, lower-level titles.
Nope, it is not either of them.
Edge? Edge has got to be one of them.
Edge is number two.
Edge
the
is number
second
two.
most decorated champion in WWE history.
And then, who is number one? Man, I'm saying these, like, right by...
I have
for
a
Big
feeling
Stupid
you are not going to guess this. I will give you a very big hint.
It's not Orton. Don't give me a hint. Let me think.
Okay.
Can't be Orton.
I guarantee you're not going to get this if you don't let me give
Crash Holly.
No.
Because he won a ton of hardcore championships.
But you're on the right train of thought, unfortunately. Not Flair. Flair was number three.
Flair was number three. Wow.
Flair is the third most decorated. I mean, he has the most world title reigns and the most U.S. title reigns. Kind of gave him a little bit of an edge there.
Who could it be? Because you say it's on a technicality.
I'm saying that because of the fact that, along the lines you're saying, hardcore championship.
I don't think it would have been Al Snow.
Nope.
I'm trying to think who won the when I think like who won the hardcore title the most, like I think Crash Holly. Like I'm trying to think who else like
Crash Holly was
the
up there.
hardcore
I
title.
think he was in the top 10, but
I'm trying to think like who kept winning the hardcore title like
not
back and
Jeff
forth.
Hardy. No,
Jeff only won the hardcore championship like once or twice. I'm trying to think who was winning the hardcore championship all the time. Mankind?
Nope.
Foley?
Nope.
Kung Fu Naki?
Nope.
Steve Blackman?
Nope.
Can
I please give you this hint now?
Yeah, sure. Give me
They
a
originally came from ECW to WWE.
Rhino?
Nope.
Raven?
Yes. Raven is the most decorated champion in all of WWE history because he held the hardcore championship about 30 times and then held other titles on top of that.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Now that you mentioned that, I do remember, like, trivia stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that
Raven.
absolutely insane?
That's ridiculous.
That Raven is the most decorated champion in WWE history, beating out Edge, who is who has the most World Heavyweight Championship reigns, who has the most Tag Team Championship reigns, has 6 Intercontinental Championship reigns.
King of the Ring.
Is King of the Ring.
Royal Rumble winner.
He retired after winning at WrestleMania with the World Heavyweight Championship, and he still got beat out by Raven.
That's the legacy of the hardcore championship in WWE.
Exactly right.
Oh,
That does it for trivia this week.
that's good. We should do that more often.
That's why, like I said, you guys have any more themes you want to go with, send them over to supergrapplerules@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter, dmurph_42.
And thanks to the dudes in chat, Bowling Dude, Big Stupid, for playing along with me. Appreciate you guys help joining in. So that'll do it now finally for the wrestling bit. Let's get into the video game bit, which has a little bit of wrestling in it.
Yep.
Take us away.
2K has revealed more information about the way my career is going to work. Who was the first Triple Crown champion? I do not remember that, but I know the fastest.
Bret Hart? It was Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels, I think.
Something like that, but I know the fastest of all time was Diesel.
Okay.
Fun fact. I remember that because he beat out CM Punk, I think it was, for it, just barely, and they stated that back then. But, yeah, they have now released more information about my career and how it's going to go, and they also showed a spotlight showing you all the different backstage areas you could go into, as well as Brawl.
They actually had a video?
It wasn't a video, it was a series of screenshots.
Yeah, I saw a few screenshots that showed you, like, talking to the seamsters or back there and interacting and walking backstage. Looks pretty good. Not a... Kind of like what it's like back there, but...
Yeah. But yeah, the way my career works now is apparently you have two paths you could choose. You could either be the
company man,
the company man, or you could be the fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but when I eventually get this game, I already know what route I am taking.
You're going to be the fan favorite?
No, I am going to be the company man.
I kind of want to be the company man just to see what it's like to be super healy.
Yeah, I love the idea of that. I love the idea of being like, you know what? Sure, I'll do this stuff. By the way, give me championship matches.
Right?
Yeah. Because one of my goals in these games is to try and hold as many titles as possible within the career. But now they have it where you could go around, walking around backstage, instead of just going through menus, and you could find people, talk to them, start rivalries, form tag teams. You can interrupt people while they're in interviews. You could talk to people like Renee Young to set up an interview to do during the show. All kinds of fun stuff like that. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit more in-depth. They also have it where if you have the My Career Invasion mode on, where other people's created characters will show up in the background and you can talk to them and such. But overall, looks like it's going to be somewhat similar. They have updated the promos, the way that works, where it's not so much points on getting the crowd to like you, so much as it is getting the crowd reaction and following the same train of thought that you start your promo.
Yeah, because that was kind of jarring how you would just...
Exactly.
You were thinking, like, what would work best for this crowd? And then you pick something, and it would be something that would immediately contradict what you just said.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So they've updated the way the promos work in it, and they've added this whole backstage section, which kind of opens up the way you do rivalries and all that, plus all the stuff with company.
It's got me intrigued, and it sounds interesting, but I want to see it in action, in motion, either via video or hear what people have to say who have played it first before I figure out what I want to do with it.
Now, I know I've put a pre-order on the game, just that way I can make sure I get Kurt Angle whenever I do pick up the game, because myself, I usually get the games because I'm a big fan of them, but if I don't end up picking up for whatever reason, I can move that pre-order to something else.
Yeah.
But that's how that goes.
Yeah, so it looks interesting. Like I said, I want to see more about what it can do. And the fact that, like, normally when 2K releases their My Career information, they normally combine it with a trailer with, like, an explainer video or something. So, like I kind of want to, like, the fact they don't have a video kind of makes me a little, like, suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, they have the video where it's, the guy talking, and then it's just, like, panoramic screenshots of the areas, but they said the reason they didn't do, like, a full video is because they don't want to spoil it too much for people.
Yeah, and, like, Big Stupid, or what Bowling Dude said, he said, like, hopefully the career will be linear enough so that you can do both paths.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Like, maybe My Career isn't as endless as it is. Maybe it has, like, a beginning and ending, so that way you're not just doing, like, 20 years of wrestling.
From what I understand, it's, like, the main storyline that they have set up. It goes through, I think, WrestleMania the following year. And then the story mode does continue, and you could go and do different rivalries and go after championships and stuff like that, but the main bulk of the story that they have planned out is from WrestleMania to WrestleMania.
Okay. Cool. Big Stupid asked if I had bought NHL 18 yet. I have not. It came out this week. I want to get it, but I had to use my video game spending money to get this guy over here his birthday present 2 months late because he finally decided what he wanted, which was Destiny 2.
I am so excited to play it.
You're on the Destiny train. I beat the campaign this week.
How was it?
It was good.
Yeah, I hear that they basically took the way they were going with, like, Taken King and stuff like that with the in-depth storytelling, and that's how they did the story of this.
A lot of people are harping on it. Like, the ending was a little kind of... Like, it was good, but it wasn't as good as I was maybe thinking it would be based on the rest of the game. Way better story than Destiny 1, but, like, I got feelings of, at certain moments, especially, like, the Halo series.
Oh, I'm not
with the
surprised
campaign.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of people are saying, like Reach and ODST kind of. So, like, that's how, that's kind of how I felt too. It kind of had that feeling of like an ODST or a Reach with the way it's told its story. The music was gorgeous, just amazing. Really set the tone. Like, made me feel like I was playing a Bungie campaign like Halo. So it was really cool, really good. They teased what and like they have a post credit scene. So if you play the game, do not skip the post credit scene. That teases what's in store for the future of Destiny. So
I know they got a bunch of DLC planned for it.
Yeah, there's 2 expansions set to come out. One's gonna have to deal with Osiris, and one's gonna have to deal with the War Mines, potentially Rasputin. That's part of the expansion pass.
Interesting.
So, but that's what I got to do. I got to beat the campaign. I beat it on Tuesday, so I was not high enough power level to give the raid or even Trials of the Nine a try, but those launched and came out this week. I've been keeping myself away from the raid because I want to try and be as surprised as I can be when I'm there, but it seems like
it's intense.
It's intense, and it seems like the main big boss of the raid is actually the Emperor of the Cabal Empire.
Yep.
So I guess after you dealt with Gaul, he was like, well, we might want to handle this before they come after us.
Yeah, and everything I've seen of it, it is absolutely intense. It's basically, hey, here's a puzzle you have to solve. And while there's a puzzle, here's a million Cabal coming at you. And they don't end until you beat the puzzle. Oh, you beat that puzzle? We'll go to this room and do this other puzzle where a million Cabal come at you.
Spoilers, this one's harder.
Yeah. Like, I saw one, and it's absolutely insane. Like, there's one point where you have to have all 6 people basically divided up to 3 and 3 on either side. You have to go through this whole process to unlock this certain thing, and then everyone has to run to the middle to try and shoot these things and not die with all these overpowered enemies coming at them. And then when that resets, everyone has to go back and start that all over again, and there's constant enemies coming out the entire time. The people I saw trying to get this done, it took them at least 2 hours just to get through that one section of the raid.
That's normally what happens when you first start a raid too, though, because like you don't know, the people are going in blind. They don't know the mechanics. They don't have everything works. They're the pioneers of the raid, so you don't know the strategies. But in a couple weeks, hopefully, those times will be cut down and people will like know the strategies of how to beat everything, and hopefully it won't take too long. But from what I hear, it takes a lot more precision and coordination than any raid before.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, these people, that one area, they figured out the basic idea of, okay, we need to do this, and then when this happens, we need to go do this and do that. And they figured it out. It's just, it was so difficult with trying to keep 6 people alive with all these enemies attacking you and having like a constant debuff unless you run to the center and grab a buff, and you have to try and do it at different times so you don't steal it from someone else and then they end up suffering. It's just so complicated and so intense. It's so difficult to do.
It sounds like they really like the raid is really proving why they needed to have guided games in this.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, we can't just... This raid is so intense and takes so much focus and coordination that we just don't want to have you get randomly matched up with some jerks. No. You're going to be with a mostly full fire team of clan members who know what they're doing, so you can actually pull it off.
Yeah,
and with the clan, it's like, if you get screwed, it's only 1 or 2 people leaving. You might be able to survive without them, or you can just grab another 1 or 2 people through guided games.
And watching this, it looks like you need a minimum of like 6 people in order to do it.
Well, the max fire team is 6.
I know, but I'm saying if you have 5 people, I don't think it's possible.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, also Trials of the Nine started this weekend. Which that is based on, I believe, countdown and elimination game modes. And it looks like the loot, and we've already seen people who've gone flawless, the loot looks really nice. They have their own, so like, as with Destiny 1, they have their own weapons, they have their own set of emblems and stuff like that. So it looks really cool. I don't know what the lore side is from that. Like, I'm trying to keep myself spoiler free from that, from the lore, until I'm ready for Trials of the Nine. But also, Zur made his first appearance this week.
Oh,
and Zur's location will actually be shown to you on the map. But Zur doesn't just show up in social spaces now. He will show up anywhere on any of the planets. Because this week he was in the middle of Nessus.
Interesting.
And you had to go find him. And he was just sitting there. And their strange coins are gone. R.I.P. strange coins. Instead,
Rip.
You use legendary shards, which are what you get when you break down legendary or exotic gear. And you have to use those to buy what he's selling.
Interesting.
So this week he had a gun that basically, I think it was like, until you get a kill, I think it's like until you get a kill, your gun charges faster. So if you can't get a kill, I think it charges these faster with each successive shot or something. I'm playing as a warlock, so I didn't check to see what the warrior or the titan had. But, the hunter or the titan had, but the warlock had this really cool chest piece with, like, golden wings that you could have bought earlier in the campaign. And the ability it has is, if you're using the Dawnblade subclass, which is the new one from this game, whenever you're jumping in the air, if you aim down the sights, you hang in the air while you shoot people. And if you get a kill, it extends the duration you get to hang in the air.
Nice.
which is cool in PvE, I guess, especially if you're from a distance and you can hit things. But in PvP, I don't know how that's going to help, because normally when you go vertical in Destiny 1, I don't know about if Destiny 2 is any different, but I didn't really seem to notice a difference in the betas. But like in Destiny 1, if you went airborne, you were basically just offering yourself up to get killed.
Well, from what I understand, a lot of what they're doing in this version with the game with the Warlock is that they're trying to make it more of like a aerial-based system where you're mostly in the air when you're attacking. At least that's what they're trying to do with people. So I'm guessing they did that to try and encourage it more. Because, I mean, think about it. Imagine if you're in a game and it's PvP and it's a team and one of them is up above firing at you while others are on the ground. You're either going to have to focus on the one guy or try to focus on the other two with one of the groups attacking you at that time.
Yeah.
So it will make things a little difficult under the right circumstances, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the stuff on Destiny 2 for this week. You gotta give me a warning about that when we transition over to something. When we transition over to that stuff,
never. It ruins the fun. Overwatch this week released a developer update with game director Jeff Kaplan once again, basically saying, "Hey guys, stop being so mean to each other." And he was basically addressing the growing toxicity in the Overwatch community and the steps they're trying to take to get rid of that.
Yeah, I will say, like, especially over the last 6 months since, like, the beginning of 2017. Like, for 2016, you had a little bit, you had your a-holes here and there, but, like, the community didn't see that bad. But I feel like over the last 6 months, from what I've experienced, what I've heard from people, is just, like, there's a lot of just people just being complete and total dicks on Overwatch, like to their teammates, their opponents, and it's just not cool.
That's why I play with no voice chat audio.
Yeah, I'll normally mute voice chat sometimes, unless I'm doing competitive. And nowadays, with the way that the toxicity has gotten on Overwatch, I don't play competitive anymore unless I have like a group of people to play with.
You see,
and
the
have
thing
a team
is,
set up.
I'm pretty decent even with competitive mode. And I don't use the voice chat for that at all, because you have like the simple commands that you need of meet me here and my ultimate is ready and things like that you can do without having to do voice chat.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really need it that bad. But yeah, they were talking about how, you have a lot of people, like you do with most games, where they feel like what's it called? The penalty system, where like if you report someone in that doesn't really do anything. They stated that they've penalized over 480,000 players in the game, and that I think they said like 360,000 of those people have been because they've been reported by other people,
and rightfully so. I mean, like, if you're gonna play in a game, like, and this also touches on like the final story that we'll touch on. Is like, I think we're getting to a point to where, just the gaming community as a whole needs to grow up.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like we need to get beyond this whole Call of Duty kind of sense of humor of just slinging racial slurs and swears and insults to mothers and sexual abuse, verbal sexual abuse and harassment at people left and right. We need to be better because, like, video games is a thing for us to come and enjoy, use as escapism, use as a hobby, use as a way to just enjoy ourselves and have fun. And like the people who are just there to try and ruin somebody else's day, honestly, I'm pretty sure there are people who don't have the best lives at all either. And they're just looking for a way to get an outlet on somebody, and just, I feel like we need to start moving away from that, because it's only hurting gaming and the community as a whole, and it's affecting everybody.
Yeah, and that's why Jeff Kaplan said they're trying to do more to try and prevent that.
Yeah.
And he says that it's similar to, it's because of the fact that a lot of people have this anonymity, where it's basically like if you're in a car, for example, someone could roll down the window and call you a jerk or an a-hole or whatever because they have no idea who you are and they're probably never going to see you again. And it's just that much more so on the internet of you don't know who this person actually is. You'll probably never see them again. So they don't have a problem with saying these kinds of things to you.
Yeah. And C. Tangretti, who's one of my Destiny clanmates and also a real-life friend of both of us. Hey, Chris. Went to high school with him. Saying competition solo is horrible. especially with no voice. I agree. You seem to disagree with your
I mean, it's
stuff.
not the easiest, but I mean, I tend to do fine with it.
Mm-hmm. And also, as he says, which speaks again, it's a joke again about the power of anonymity in the internet, which is on the internet, no one knows you're a dog.
Yes.
Anyways,
Ruh-roh.
as Big Stupid says, yeah, keyboard tough guys think they can get away with hate speech. Yeah, that's pretty much what a lot of it is. And like, I feel like the gaming community is partially what's all, and like this part of the internet, it's like a lot of these people are either people who just want to harm, or just a-holes who want to harm people, or came out of the and this isn't me bad mouthing these sites, because there were times where I went to these sites for different reasons, for reasonable reasons, but for like the dark parts of 4chan and Reddit, they have their dark places where these kinds of people all congregated and decided they were going to spew hate speech and harass people, and that's where you got the negative dark side of things like Gamergate and whatnot. Like, and it's not helping at all. And like, that kind of stuff, even good-natured people can, have that kind of language get stuck in their brains, and it can affect them. And that's where we're going to transition into the final story of the show, which is the PewDiePie incident that happened this week.
The new incident.
Yeah, the new incident where PewDiePie was playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on a live stream,
PUBG.
And he got shot, and he said, "Oh, that God damn it, you," and then dropped the N-bomb with the hard R at the end.
Yep.
And he instantly immediately realized what he did and said, "Oh, I meant like a-hole," but still that kind of reinforces the fact that like he meant the word as an insult. I mean, I don't know how you don't mean that word as an insult.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it's a very touchy subject. Like, we're gonna try to be as like positive or as careful as we can on this. And basically, after he said that, everybody went off on him, said, "This is just PewDiePie being racist again. We told you he's a racist. Why is YouTube supporting him? Why do all these fans follow him?" And to PewDiePie's credit, the next day, I don't know if you've seen the video, but he actually did give a legitimate, heartfelt apology.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
He said, for anybody who doesn't know, he basically got on the camera and in a very plain tone said, "Look, I understand the backlash for what I said. I know what I said. It was a moment of anger. It was the first thing that popped into my head. I don't know why it popped into my head, but it popped into my head and it slipped out. I do not appreciate that kind of language or that tone of voice, and I'm not making excuses for myself." He was like, "I have to do better. I have to be better for the position that I'm in. I expect myself to be better. I expect myself to not be like this."
Yeah.
And he said, "I deeply, truly apologize to anybody who is offended by that, and he was saying, like, I can't believe I've done something this stupid again." He said, "I am an idiot and I need to be better." So, to PewDiePie's credit, I believe that Felix Kjellberg, PewDiePie, I think he is just a big, stupid, goofy idiot in that phrase. But I think deep down, I feel like there is a good person there. And I feel like, he gets so caught up in his stupid persona and everything and trying to say outlandish things sometimes, or, again, like I was saying, with the way that just the gaming culture has built, like, that word will, like, popped into his head and tends to pop into people's heads sometimes when they're playing games.
Because it's said so
and they
much
don't, and because it's said so much. And
unfortunate.
It's a bad word. Nobody should ever use it. I never use it. I will never use it. But, like, I feel like I don't want to fully defend what PewDiePie did. But what I'm saying is that what this incident is just an example of what happens when the gaming community is filled with so much toxicity that words like this become normalized.
Yeah.
Normalized to the point that people maybe like PewDiePie, again, I'm not making a judgment on like who he is as a person because I've never met him, but people who normally mean well, or somebody like a PewDiePie who, I mean, he's been on the platform for over 10 years, and like, yes, he did like a couple of iffy messed up things, like bordered on racist, but he never dropped the N-word with a hard R in 10 years. And it drops now. I feel like that's just an example of just why the toxicity and the negativity in the gaming industry has to stop, especially in the online gaming community, because now it's affecting people who don't normally use those words subconsciously, where it's causing them to say that word when maybe they don't really mean it.
Yeah.
And it just has to stop. And like, I think PewDiePie needs to do better. He needs to be better. I don't think that was appropriate what he did. I am not going to defend him for what he said. I believe that he is sincere with his apology, and I do hope he does better. And if he doesn't do better, like, I fully expect the gaming community to hold him accountable for it.
Same.
So is it? So Big Stupid is asking. So is it a fact that he used the hard R like he used an A? Would the backlash be as bad? I think the backlash wouldn't be maybe as bad because the hard R normally has vitriol and hatred behind it. But I think the A, that doesn't mean that that there wouldn't have been any backlash if he used it with an A.
Yeah.
Or the backlash wouldn't have been bad at all. He still would have gotten a ton of crap.
Yeah.
But when you use the hard R,
there is that extra bit. Him
there is that extra bit of hatred and vitriol behind the word. It almost changes the word.
Yeah.
To an extent. But I still think no matter what way he would have dropped an N-bomb there, he still would have gotten a lot of backlash. I just think like
shouldn't have done it.
Say like here's the scale of the backlash. Like this is 0 and this is 100. I think if he used the A, he'd probably be up here. But since he used the R, he's up here. It's like the difference between like a 90 or 95 and a 100.
Yeah.
Like, it's really not that much of a difference. Yeah, and like C-Tunga says, tone of voice is huge too. Not saying jokingly using the word is any better, but it does make a difference. That's true. And in the way of PewDiePie, like, he almost, like, in his tone of voice, because I watched the clip, he said it as an insult, but he almost said it as a throwaway. So, like, tone of voice, like, he wasn't being racial with it, but at the same time, it's not making an excuse for it.
Yeah, and at the same time, just using the word as, racial, because that's where it's based. But, I mean,
yeah,
it's, as you said, it's mostly, unfortunately, the fact of, with the way the online community is nowadays, he could be hearing people on his headset saying that word all day, every day. Because, unfortunately, it is a common thing to happen with online gaming.
Unless he's smart enough to mute
slurs.
things. Unless he's smart enough to mute everybody.
No, I understand, but I'm saying, like, you have to imagine, he plays games on his own without streaming it
online. Oh, yeah, I know. I remember the old Halo days.
That's why I mute my audio now, because you encounter that so much. It's such a growing problem. And it's probably a matter of
it needs to stop.
So much, it got ingrained in his brain.
Like, at this day and age, like, internet online gaming is now, like, about 10, 15 years old now.
Yeah.
It needs to stop.
It's ridiculous.
Like, it needs to stop.
It's not right. People need to stop doing it. And, like you said, I don't know the guy. He shouldn't have said that word. I can understand why he said the word. I still don't agree with it. But then again, that's because I don't do that.
Yeah.
And once again, that's the reason why I've done things like I don't do the chat audio in games anymore, because you just hear it so much. I'd rather play with having a harder time playing with my team than hearing someone do something like that.
It's never okay to use that language. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate PewDiePie for apologizing, but he should never say it again. Mm-hmm. And he better, and I hope he never says it again. And nobody, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you should never use that language online.
Or ever.
Never use that language.
Never use it ever.
Ever, yeah. Don't use it online. Don't use it in person. Never. Because it's insensitive. It's filled with hatred. And it's meant to insult and anger and hurt people.
Don't be on the racist level. Stay on the Neville level, guys.
Yeah, be on the Neville level. The Neville level's cool. The Neville level isn't racist.
Exactly.
The Neville level is exquisite.
The Neville level is willing to compete with people of all cultures.
Yes. And Big Stupid, I do know you weren't just defending, you were just asking for the opinion on that. Yeah, and we appreciate your insight. Appreciate all your guys' insight on everything this week. That's going to do it for Super Grapple Bros episode 22, I think we're going with. We'll see if that's actually the case. We'll see if we're right
Fix it
at the end.
Insert
Thank you all so much for
correct
watching.
Title here.
Next week, we will be bringing our No Mercy predictions and all that fun stuff, all the good stuff that comes along with that. So you'll be getting to hear the predictions for Roman, Cena, Strowman, Lesnar, and all the other matches, while this baby is put on the line. Your longest reigning and only ever two-time champion will be putting his championship on the line.
Yep.
So here we go. We'll be doing it next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do not forget, if you are not watching this live, you can catch it live on Twitch, on twitch.tv/L_Murpho. We go live every week, traditionally on Fridays, sometimes on Saturdays. All depends on how it goes. Just stay tuned. On Twitter, which I am L_Murpho. He is DMurph_42. I will normally try to tweet out to let people know when we are going to be going live. If you are watching this back on YouTube, which is at youtube.com/LMurphoReal, you can check out the Discord server as well, which should be in the description. It is below if you're on Twitch. Go ahead and check the Discord server. I try to update when I go live, and if you ever join the Discord server and you want to know when Super Grap Bros is going on, just ask. I'll be quick to answer and let you know what the current situation is at the moment. You can catch us in audio form in various different places, on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Google Play, and I'm sure a bunch of other places the podcast can be found. Just search for Super Grapple Bros. And once again, if you have any questions, topic ideas, concerns, corrections, or trivia
categories and or questions,
send us an email at supergrapplebros@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, however you consume the content. We really appreciate you. Same goes to everybody in the chat live, watching, lurking, and all that stuff. Also, do not forget, like, share, subscribe on YouTube, and rate, and subscribe, or rate, share, and subscribe on the audio forms.
Review,
subscribe. Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say again that we got us on Twitter, as Big Super just pointed out. I tweeted something that about WWE that they said, and we got into a nice little conversation about it on Twitter, talking about how it's actually something I forgot to mention. I'll just bring up quickly. WWE posted a picture of Paul Heyman with RVD, one with him with Big Show, one with Cesaro, and one with Brock Lesnar, and asked, who is your favorite Paul Heyman guy? And I retweeted it saying, you guys literally forgot the best. And everyone else that was commenting on it was doing CM Punk gifts and everything. But yeah, we got into a nice little conversation.
Yeah,
so.
WWE can't do that right now because he's a persona non grata at the moment.
Yeah, but you guys want to talk with us, you can hit us up on there. I'll respond. So,
And that'll do it, guys. So, for DMurph, I am L_Murpho. Until we see you guys next week, peace out. Deuces. Deuce, deuce, deuce. A deuce, a deuce, deuce. That was a thing. Take care.
Shut up and sit down.